Alright, got all the holes filled. They look good. I'll sand them down before I paint, but I filled those and then I realized I was not thinking, duh, this is gonna be a shiplap wall, so I did that work for nothing. But that's what we're gonna work on today. We're gonna get the shiplap put up and then get the trim put up. And I forgot to buy the trim for that. Oh no, wait, I can't remember if I did. I think I might have bought another piece that I'm gonna rip down in half so it matches the floor trim. That's what we're gonna start working on. So I'm gonna start by putting 2 trim pieces up on each side. This is a 1/2 inch difference between that corner and that corner. So I measured, I cut it, and lo and behold, the wall is not straight at all. So what I did was I took my pencil and I'm gonna try to scribe this line, and I'm gonna try to cut it, try to get that to fit tighter. Caulking's okay, but that's too much. I need to get it closer to the wall, or at least try to. So, we'll see how it goes. Okay, I'm getting my first piece mocked up here. I already got it cut to the size. And what I'm gonna do is same thing. So we got the big gap underneath the floor. We're not gonna put up shoe molding, so I'm gonna try to scribe this side and that side. And when you're doing it, what you wanna make sure you do is your first row, get that completely level. And then once you get that completely level, it's not right now, but once you get that completely level, every single row should be good after that. Check every few rows, but once you get that first one level and nailed in, you should be fine. But you gotta get this first row where it needs to be, or otherwise the whole thing will be off. Okay, I got the first few boards up. A couple things to keep in mind: make sure you mark where your studs are so your nails hit the studs, and then also I started out at 80 1/4. I'm already up to 80 1/2 here, so make sure you measure every board if your wall isn't straight, which most likely it's not going to be, but we're getting there. Get a little tricky. We'll cut that in with a jigsaw when we get to it. All right, we've reached the point of where the outlet is. So how do we do that? What are we going to do to get the board where it needs to go? Here's what I did. Okay, what I did was I took this and I measured the width, so I just held a strap piece up there and measured from here to there, and then I measured from there to there. So I kept the end here and measured over. There's my length from here to here. Here's my width. All right, please do me a favor, shut the power off when you do this. Okay, got the outlet pulled through. There's the hole. See that? I got the drill just a little too far over. That's okay, because we're gonna cover it with a plate. So no big deal there, but you can see too also in there, see how the screw isn't long enough? Because the wood is too thick, so you're gonna have to get a longer screw. No big deal, okay? That's how you do it. And then after I made this jig, you take a measurement from the end to the beginning of this, okay, which was 14 1/4. Brought it down to my piece that I've already cut. From there to there, 14 1/4. Set this on there. Make sure it's right on that line. Drill 4 holes, cut with a jigsaw. Right here, how it's tight here, but it's not here. So sure, you can caulk that. It won't look too bad, but there's something we can do to fix that. Now remember, at the beginning of the video, like I said, this is my own house, so I did this on purpose, so somebody can learn something. Okay, same thing here. I'm getting a little off. I don't want to keep going because it'll keep getting off. So here's what you can do. See my next board? How it's just about tight and flush there? Okay? Now what I did was I went over to the miter saw and I set it at a 1 degree angle and laid it flat and cut it. So it'd be a little shorter on the bottom and a little longer on the top. So that compensated for that. So that's the way you can do it. Then come over to this side, and this side is much better. See, so the wall that's not plumb is on the other side. This one's been pretty plumb almost the whole way that I've been installing the boards. So what you can do now is take the board, hold it up there, okay? And now you can mark this and cut this at 0 degrees, and you should be good. Okay, since this is the last piece, and I know I bought just enough boards, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a scrap piece first and mock it up with this. So I'm gonna cut my width with this piece, I'll hold it up there, make sure it's right, and then go cut the final piece. Okay, here are my two options. I got two separate pieces I mocked up now. This one is touching the drywall, but it's got the gap because of this notch in the board. You can see that in the camera on the top there. Or I take this piece, which I cut the notch off, and then what I can do is I can cheat this up a little bit, like that, and then just caulk that little seam, which I think that's what I'm gonna do. I like that look better anyways. I don't like this big gap sitting there, because that'll have to stay and that's too big to caulk. So we'll cheat this up just a little bit. It'll make this gap just a tiny bit bigger, but not noticeable, and that's what we'll go with. So my line was pretty straight growing across here, but I could have scribed this though. It's a fine balance now when you're trying to cheat this way or that way to get not too much of a gap up here and not too much of a gap up there. But it looks good. We'll put a small bead of caulk in here before we paint it. Caulk can be your friend, but it can be your enemy too. Okay, now I'm working on the baseboards. And they came in 5.5 inch widths, and I cut it down 1/2 inch because we like 5 better than 5.5. But what you can see, what I did here is, see this wall is so wonky, comes way out here. If you set this up, I was gonna have a huge gap. So what I did was, I screwed up here, I measured too high, didn't take into account the 1/2 inch, no big deal. I'll patch that, you won't even see it. But I just want to show everybody that I cut this out, okay? Got all that cut out. This way the baseboard will lay flatter on the wall and have a much smaller gap. You know, you're gonna caulk along here anyways, but you wanna still get it as tight as you can. You don't wanna have a, you know, this like, a gap like that, that's unacceptable. So, well, I don't even have it attached to the wall though. But that's where we're at for the baseboard. And then I'll do the same thing. I'll scribe a line on the bottom there, get it as tight as I can. And then I got the other piece here for this side. It's gonna go here. I know they tell you, everybody says, oh, don't ever 45, oh, it's terrible. So I could have just butted it in there, but I don't know. I think it looks better like this. We'll work on this too. I got another trick for that I'll show you guys to get that a little tighter. Okay, see how I got that a lot tighter now? I'll show you what I did. If you go back behind the board, see I put a screw in there? So this way this bottom piece kicks out just a little bit and then makes that seam a lot tighter. And what you can do is obviously you can tighten it in more or loosen it more to try to adjust it, but that's pretty good where I had it, so. That's pretty good. I'll mess with it a little bit more when I go to actually nail it in there, but. Working on getting this baseboard mocked up, and what I do to find my angle, I got these two pieces lined up on the other end. is you got to get you one of these. And then you put that right on there, look at the arrow, and it'll tell you exactly where you need to be. So I'm at 44 and a half. So when you cut this miter and the other one, you should be dead on. All right, all done for today. I got the window trimmed out, all the baseboards are done. The shiplap's done. And now we'll move on to the next step. So eventually this trim's gonna go that way. Same thing on the other side, but I kind of stopped it and just tacked it in there for now, but looks good. We'll fill all the rest of the nail holes, give everything a light sanding, and then we'll get ready to coat it with primer. All right, got all the nail holes filled and everything at the end of the day yesterday. I gotta do another coat on some of those holes, but I just want to show you guys, when you're spraying, or if you're gonna spray, this is what I do to tape everything off. That's my daughter's toys. This is the reality when you're doing a home project and not for a customer. Anyways, this is what you gotta do. If you're gonna spray it on the paint and not brush and roll it, this is what you have to do. You have to tape every single thing down, or you're gonna get it on the floor. I guarantee it, because that spray will one way or another find its way on the floor if it's not taped all the way. And then what I'm doing now is I'm taping the windows off. And you gotta be really precise with getting here, and then I'm gonna put more paper over this part. But this is the part that a lot of customers don't see, you know? If customers come in and they, oh, I want you to do new trim and do new shiplap, it's like, okay, and then, you know, you'll have some customer go, oh, that's so much more expensive than the other person. And then, you know, explain to them, well, this is why. Is he protecting your floors? Is this what he does before he paints? Is he brushing and rolling? Is he spraying it? Is he gonna make sure that no paint gets anywhere? These are the kind of questions that are more than valid to ask your customer about your competition. Also, another thing, before I go into a customer's house, if I'm doing any big project like doing trim or like this, everything gets covered first between drop cloths, the paper, and I also have that sticky paper that goes over, or that sticky plastic that goes over carpets. And that's what I do when I go into a customer's home. Yesterday, I just cut outside here on the deck because this is my house, so I cut outside. But on to the next step. All right, I got it all primed. I probably should have recorded this. I didn't record it though, but anyways. Looks good, we'll let that dry. If you're a homeowner, you know, and not a painter or a contractor, handyman, you can brush and roll it and get a good, decent finish. You just gotta have a good brush and good roller covers and you can do it, but I sprayed it all. And since it was such a small area, I used my great little cordless sprayer to do it. But it looks pretty good. Might have to do some little sanding. And this was difficult too, taping all this off and getting that right so this doesn't get nothing on it. But okay, so now we're caulking everything. And it's looking good. You'll see, I'll show you guys. That's where I kind of stopped caulking. That's where I did caulk. So caulking's okay, within reason. You know, you get it as tight as you can and then you caulk it if you're gonna paint it. Now if you're doing something like this that's like finished pine or something, well, you gotta be really, really better than that because, you know, you can't fill it with caulk and paint over it. Now, a lot of times people have a hard time caulking and there's a few reasons for it. Now, this is just the way that I do it. There's a million ways to do it, but the way I do it seems to work really, really well. And I've gotten a lot better at caulking than when I first started. So the caulk I'm using, Big Stretch. I've had great luck with this. Comes in a bunch of colors. Doesn't shrink, doesn't crack, cleans up with just a rag. This stuff is awesome. Also, dripless caulk gun. Wet rag, this is a lifesaver. For the shiplap, what I'm doing too is I'm taking a painter's tool, and you don't want to get the caulk, you know, in the gap because you'll see it. So what you want to do is you can run it down, but you're going to have a little glob there. So I've been taking this painter's tool, going in there, lifting up a little bit, and then scraping it out of there, which seems to work well. Now the tip. Some people say they cut it at an angle, some people cut it straight. I cut it straight. And a really easy way to help you caulk is don't cut the tip too big. Always cut it smaller than what you think, because if you cut it too big, too much caulk, and then you're just nothing but problems. Okay, I'm gonna attempt to do this with one hand and hold the camera. So get your tip up there. And the speed you use is gonna control the caulk too. See the speed I'm using? And the pressure that you're squeezing the gun with. So see how I got those little gaps? I gotta give it more pressure. It's just hard when I'm trying to hold the camera and doing it. So let's go up there. Put a little more in there. I always wet my finger too. Go back in there. Now see those spots that I missed? No big deal, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is I'll go back. I'm gonna put the camera down. I'm gonna get better bead in there and then I'll show you. Okay, I got a little bit better bead in there now. I'm gonna wet my finger. Now see, I missed that little bit there. Another tip too. When you've got your beads, see that? So that can sometimes happen. Take your rag, wipe that off before you get started to do another bead. Okay, everything's caulked in now. Looks good. So this wall is really bad, but now that it's caulked in, it looks good. Okay, everything's primed, ready to be painted. I went over quickly with a sanding block and just did a light sanding to get this as smooth as possible. There's 2 coats of primer, so I'll start putting the paint on the trim. I got my helper today. She wants to help, so before I start spraying, she can help. But anyways, here's what I'm gonna use. I use Benjamin Moore Scuff X. I've never used it, and we'll see how it goes. I heard a lot of good things about it. I've just never tried it because there isn't a Benjamin Moore dealer really close to me, and then I found a JC Light store, and they have it. So we'll try it out, see how it works out. I've used Sherwin-Williams Pro Classic, and I've used Sherwin-Williams urethane enamel, and they're okay. But what happens is if you get a little too close when you're spraying, the Pro Classic runs down really easy. So you gotta be careful. I did that at my old house and it ran down. I had to sand it down, do it all over. We'll try to avoid it with trying this out. We'll see how this works out. But are we ready to paint?
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa. See, that's what happens when I got my helper.
Yeah.
That's okay. So you gotta be careful because it's got paint on the lid. That's all right. We got it on the floor, but that's okay. That's why we cover the floors.
Yeah.
All right. How are you gonna wipe that off?
I don't know.
You don't know? Here, wipe it on Dad's bucket. Wipe on the bucket. Just wipe your fingers on there. Keep going. Wipe some more. There. That's good. We'll wash them later. Now take this stick, put it in this way. There you go. Slowly mix it up.
Then how am I going to paint it?
We're gonna put it in Dad's sprayer and paint it, but for now, we'll slowly mix it up like we're mixing up stuff for cookies.
Yeah.
Nope, 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 don't take it out of there, keep mixing. Slow though, because you don't want to spill it.
It's too hot.
It's too hard. Here, Dad will help you. Put your hand on it. How's that?
Yeah, it's kind of good.
You think it's stirred enough?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I sprayed all that. Now we'll let it dry before we put a second coat on there, but I missed it all. Didn't have it recording, so I'll do this window here and show you guys. All right, guys, the trim's all painted, all dry, and we're almost getting to the end. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get that soffit primed because I'm gonna paint this white, that's gonna be white, and then we'll paint the walls a color, but that's really it. We gotta paint the ceiling. I gotta put a box in there, paint the walls, and then I gotta put, I'm gonna cut that shorter and then put a cap on there, and then just leave those two sticking out of the wall because we're gonna have a countertop running from one length to the other. And put the plates back on, and this room is done. Been a long time coming. With a storage area, and with my business and my wife's business and Etsy store, it just started to get out of control. And her more than me needed an office, so we decided to turn this into an office. It's not a big room, but getting everything primed up, and I got my helper here today helping me, like this. Make sure that the whole thing touches like that. There you go. See?
Yeah. Dad, can I do that side?
Do this side. You gotta finish over here first.
Oh.
She likes painting, so that's good. Okay, real quick, I'm ready to start painting, but before I did, I just want to show you guys. So I did tape everything off. I used frog tape, the yellow tape. That's the more delicate stuff, so I don't ruin the trim or peel any of the caulk or paint off of that. But before I start painting, I just want to show you guys. So there was like a track light running across here. I ran this wire back. It goes all the way back through here and then into the other ceiling, into the laundry room, which there's actually another ceiling right above this one. And I don't know why they put this soffit in to put these can lights in, because the living room ceiling is the same height and it has them in there. But in here they decided to drop this down and put them in. Same thing in my laundry room. They dropped the ceiling all the way down so it's lower than the rest of the house and put can lights in. But the rest of the house has can lights, but the ceiling's higher. Why they did that, I don't know. If any electrician knows the answer to that, comment below. But so I just put a remodeler's box. All right, guys, sorry about the fan noise, but got the ceilings all painted in. We're still drying there, so, but it looks good. Nice bright white ceiling paint. This is Sherwin-Williams CHB. Two reasons why I love it. It dries very, very fast in between coats, and it goes on really, really well. Three things. The third thing, and it's only about 17 bucks a gallon, but man, when it's done, it's really good. I painted our house with CHB. I use it all the time at customers' houses, so that's what I'm using. And I ran out of tray liners, of course. My last one, so I'm getting innovative. I just washed it and reusing it. When it's a small room, this room is so small, I'll just use that instead of using my big pail with an 18-inch roller. But sometimes you gotta make do. Wash the tray liner, reuse it. I'm not gonna run to the store for tray liners and waste another hour or so. And using Sherwin-Williams Pro Mark 200. I've had really, really good luck with this too. I've painted a lot of houses with it. This is flat, dries quick. It's a little on the thicker side, but there's hardly any smell. And it's got a good price point on it. And I use it all the time. That's what we're gonna use. And this is the color that my wife picked out, is Alabaster. Another quick tip I'll show you guys. These Purdy rollers are pretty good, but sometimes these fuzzies will come off and get on the wall. When you're painting, you don't want that, because then you have to go back and get that off and then run the roller back over it. So what I do is I take tape, like this, get it all taped up, then take it, put it on your roller like that, peel that off, and the camera's not going to pick this up, but there's a bunch of fuzz on there, so get that all off, the way your walls are nice and smooth. Alright, I'm just working on the second coat. I got the first coat on, first cut in done, but you can see that? That's called picture framings. I think that's the word it's called. That's the word I use, I don't know. But you can see I'm gonna have to go back, do a second cut in So I'm gonna do that first. I'm gonna go back, do a second cut in, then roll, so you don't see that much of the brush marks. Okay, so I did 2 coats of cutting in and I did 3 coats on the walls. That's 3 coats, that's 2 coats. And you can see you still got a little bit showing through. So 3 coats, it happens when you're going from darker to lighter. But we're almost done. Don't mind that piece. That's just temporarily on there. That's gonna come off and then the trim's gonna get wrapped around once we do the living room. But let's pull some tape, because we done. There we go. Yes, sir. This yellow frog tape is awesome for this delicate stuff. I want to show you guys too. Sometimes it ain't always pretty. Sometimes things do happen. Okay? I'll show you what you can do to take care of that. Painter's tool, microfiber rag. I just take the rag, put it over that. Okay, I'll see you got a little bit of blunder there, but I'll go back with a brush, touch that up. All right, everybody, here's the finished product. We are all done. I gotta get a cover for that. Just gotta get a couple wire nuts and then put that in the box. And then 2 longer screws for that. And then I'm gonna get a new cover for that. But other than that, that is it. Turned out good. So the flooring was already here. I didn't put that in, that was already here. That's not my favorite, but whatever. Used to be a sink there, I'm just gonna leave that. Put a cap on the end of that. That's it, we're all set. Guys got any questions? Drop them in the comment section below. Give me that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell for notifications for future videos. See you guys on the next one.